Hey, what's up, Christian Network Marketers community? I have Rileigh here, and today she's going to share with you how God is working in her business. So, Rileigh, how about you go ahead and take it from there?
Okay. So, hello everyone. So I actually have had a lot of patience. So I'm not usually a very patient person. So God has really been testing me on my patience. So I have a specific example like from yesterday. So for maybe 3 days in a row, I had a one-on-one scheduled, and I would call her, she would answer, and then she'd ask me to reschedule the next night. And it was like super frustrating. And I also needed about 50 PV or something to hit a certain rank for the end of the month. So this enrollment was going to help me to not have to like think of buying in or asking people to order whatever I wanted to do. So finally yesterday, on the last day of the month, after 3 days of her telling me, oh, can we talk tomorrow? Oh, can we talk tomorrow? Oh, blah, blah, blah. She contacted me and said, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm ready. Can I get this enrollment through? So I was like, yes. Thank you, God. So we talked on the phone, she enrolled, and then I was able to hit the rank that I wanted to on the last day, last few hours, and finally, that happened. So that was teaching me patience because, for those days I was super aggravated. I was trying to think of other ways to, reach my goal, and I wasn't obviously able to until the very last day. So God came through like he always does. And it just taught me that I have to continue to trust in him and not be frustrated all the time, which is hard for me. So it's been especially teaching me patience lately because things like that have been happening a lot.
Do you think they happen a lot? Why do you think they happen a lot?
Because I've been praying for patience, like for God to give me more patience, and I'm kind of learning the hard way. I think somebody said a long time ago, maybe it was on an Emerge, I can't remember, but someone said, don't pray for patience because you're going to like learn the hard way or something. So I feel like because I was praying for patience, I'm learning learning the hard way about patience.
Sure. Well, I'm not sure that God's going to like punish us with frustrating situations. I think it's so much more like when you buy a car. So we bought a Mazda minivan back when Haley was born, and all of a sudden you see Mazda minivans all the time, right? And they were always there. And so I think when we are praying for patience, we become so much more aware of our lack of patience. Then now all of a sudden we see all of these things that make that so evident. And I think that's more of that, like our lenses change. And so how do you see God working inside you in this time?
I guess just making his presence more known, obviously through my prayer, through my business, through everyday life, not just in my business, but with everything. Just making me more aware that he's there, that I'm trusting in him, and kind of like re-establishing our relationship.
Cool. As you think about your business, you've been able to have really some awesome growth through a fairly turbulent life scenario. I'm not going to needle you on that. But I would love if you would share some practical tips that have helped you, in your situation, right, your network marketing income, that really helps your family. And so as you've been, tied up a bit, what are some practical tips that you have for people that don't have like a full schedule to be able to work, or, I know your son is in the background about to jump off the couch. Like, what are some practical tips you have in order to still be able to grow your business when there's a lot of other things going on distracting you?
That's a hard one. Number one, try not to make excuses. That's a really big thing. That's like the first thing that popped in my mind, was not making excuses, but just finding time. I mean, I was in the hospital, and, you know, when I was between different things, I would, you know, message my people and schedule times that I thought we'd be able to talk. And a lot of them were super patient with me. So just, I don't know, just finding little bits of time to kind of do your business, even if you don't have a lot of time. So I can think of a better example. When I was working a 9 to 5 and driving, you know, I would just find little pockets throughout the day to do my business. Mm-hmm. So that was how I did it then, especially because that was very, very part-time. That was very little hours that I was doing, just finding that time when you can. So if you're not able to do this full time or spend a lot of time on this business, just really finding those little moments. Instead of scrolling through Facebook, why don't you make a call, or why don't you text a customer or do something for your business instead of doing mindless activities? So it's kind of being more mindful to not do mindless activities, if that makes sense.
That is very, very good advice, because in, you know, like 10 minutes, how many messages could you send out to customers versus 10 minutes of getting stuck in the scroll? Because I think so many people are managing multiple things. And it's always encouraging to hear like the real life story of someone who's doing it, you know, when we're kind of stuck in the muck a little bit. What message would you have for the Christian network marketers community? Like, you just wanted a free flow, what would you want to tell them or share with them?
About like anything?
Anything.
Being more in, this is from personal experience, being more in tune with how you're feeling, being honest with yourself, staying positive, but really truly being honest with yourself about things. If you don't fool yourself into not knowing what's going on in your life or your business, just being really straightforward with yourself, because being, you know, super transparent with yourself is going to help you to be transparent with others, and it's going to help you to communicate not only throughout yourself, with God, and with other people.
So honesty, that's cool. Okay, so I'm going to ask one question. You don't have to go into a ton of detail, but for some people, right, they're trying to build their business when they are struggling with health challenges, or they have a family member struggling with health challenges. So how do you handle that? Like, how have you been able to grow your business in that space?
Just not giving up, I guess, just not making excuses. Again, finding those little pockets of time to talk to people, to grow my business, calling people, reaching out to customers, just, I mean, pretty much doing the same thing. I mean, I'm not saying that I was doing the business full time when I was in the hospital for 23 days, but I was finding those little pockets of time. So I guess just
well, you did rank advance that month.
I did, yeah.
That was pretty ridiculous.
It's really like, I feel mean saying this, but not making excuses. You just can't make excuses. Like, there's no excuse. I mean, things happen and they're going to mess up your schedule a little bit, but it shouldn't make your mindset on an excuse or something that's going on in your life is going to really determine your success. So if you're going to sit there and be like, oh, like, my dog, I had to bring my dog to the vet and blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, that sucks that happened, but that's not a reason for you to not do your business. Does that make sense? It's just,
yeah, it's perfect. And I know I can see you're like, it's just so basic, guys. Like, I can see that you're searching for something super profound and deep, but what is so profound and deep about what you're sharing, Rileigh, is that it's not profound and deep. We don't have to complicate the network marketing business. It's about reaching out to people, offering to solve their problems, caring about them, following up with people so they don't feel lost and forgotten. And these things can be done from so many different places, and it doesn't have to be this grand production, right? Like, let me clean my desk and let me do all, right? Like that, you know, rank advancements and helping. I mean, a rank advancement is just a function of helping other people reach their goals, right? Mm-hmm. And so we can do that in so many different ways. And I think that, you know, for me to go and say, guys, there's no excuses, it's different coming from someone who has every excuse that I wouldn't call it an excuse, but who has every reason, and to be able to like rise above that and still help people in that situation. I remember when you were going through that, one of the things that just struck me is you said, and I remember you joking about how this was like just a shameless, like, I'm going to use this thing. And you were like, this is what's happening to me, but nothing brings me more joy than helping people with their health. So if you want to cheer me up right now, schedule an appointment with me. It was basically that. And I think that's awesome. And I love that about you. I love your authenticity. I love just the realness that you bring and the groundedness that you bring to every coaching group you've been in, every conversation that we have. And I'm excited for everything. And I'm super grateful that you took your time today to share with our community.
Thanks.
Anything else you want to throw out there?
No, I don't think so.
Good. All right. Well, thanks so much, Rileigh.
Thank you.